So you're a cloud architect, right? You spend your days designing for speed, for massive scale, for ironclad security. But what happens when everything just breaks? I mean, catastrophically breaks. That's what we're talking about today. We're diving into the absolute must-have blueprint for database resilience and recovery on GCP. This isn't just theory. This is about how you survive your absolute worst day. All right, let's just jump right in. I want to paint a picture for you, a scenario that might feel, well, a little too real for some of us. We're going to walk through a full-blown crisis, moment by painful moment, just so we can all really feel what's at stake here. Picture this. It's 2 a.m. Of course it is, right? It's your standard maintenance window. That routine deployment you've done a dozen times rolls out. All the automated checks, green. The system dashboards, green across the board. Everything looks perfect. You can almost hear the on-call team exhaling, thinking, okay, back to bed. But then, literally 60 seconds later, bam, the calm is just shattered. An automated PagerDuty screaming, high priority alert goes off. And this isn't your garden variety server is down notification. No, this is something way, way worse. The system itself is screaming that something is terribly wrong. And there it is, the one message that sends a chill down any engineer's spine. Some subtle, nasty little bug in that perfect deployment has started to, well, shred user data. This just went from a downtime problem to a data integrity crisis. We're talking about customer trust here, something you spend years building and, as you know, can lose in a matter of seconds. Okay, so that alert hits your phone. You're jolted awake, heart pounding. Your mind is just racing, right? Do I roll back the deployment? Do I just kill the service? Do I start digging through logs? What do? What is the very first thing you do in that moment? Well, here's the twist. The right answer isn't a command you frantically type into a terminal. Nope. Before you touch a single keyboard, your entire response has to be guided by your North Star, your recovery objectives that you defined way before this crisis ever hit. It's all about strategy first, then execution. And that strategy? It's built on 2 little acronyms that you have to know inside and out, RPO and RTO. First step, RPO, Recovery Point Objective. This is the big one. It answers the question, how much data can we actually afford to lose? Are we talking 5 seconds of transactions, 5 minutes, a whole hour? Then there's RTO, Recovery Time Objective. This one's about speed. How fast do we need to be back up and running? Is it 30 minutes? 2 hours? I'm telling you, these 2 numbers, they dictate everything you're about to do. And here's something that's so important to get. RPO and RTO, they aren't technical metrics that the engineering team just pulls out of a hat. No way. They are business agreements. They're promises you've made to your customers and stakeholders. So defining them isn't about tweaking a config file. It's about having a serious conversation with the business side of the house. Okay, so we've got our business objectives locked in. Now we can finally talk about the fun stuff, the tools. Let's dig into GCP's resiliency toolkit and see how it actually helps us hit those RPO and RTO targets we just talked about. The cool thing is GCP gives you some seriously powerful backup tools right out of the box. So for something like Cloud SQL, your classic relational database, you get automated backups, which is great. But the real superstar here is something called point-in-time recovery, or PITR. You've got to love this. Think of it like a time machine for your data. It lets you rewind your entire database to a specific second. I mean, literally, down to the second, right before everything went sideways. It is unbelievably powerful. Then for your NoSQL databases, like Firestore or Bigtable, you're going to lean on managed exports and backups to create those reliable snapshots you need to recover from. So where do all these wonderful backups and exports go? Well, a lot of the time, they land in cloud storage. And for very good reason. It's like the Swiss Army knife of storage. You can use it for long-term retention, way beyond the default 7 days. You can use it to copy your backups to a totally different region for real-deal disaster recovery. Or you can just archive data there for years to keep the compliance folks happy. It's really the foundation of any good layered backup plan. All right, we've got our strategy, our RPO and RTO. We know our tools, so let's get back to our 2 a.m. nightmare scenario and actually walk through the playbook. This is where all that preparation pays off. Look, when the alarms are blaring, you do not improvise. You follow the plan, period. Step 1, you declare an incident. Get the right people on a call now. Step 2, you open the runbook, that step-by-step guide you wrote for this exact disaster. Step 3, the runbook says what to do, so you do it. In our case, that means initiating that beautiful point-in-time recovery on Cloud SQL, winding it back to 2:12 a.m. just before that bad code landed. Step 4 is critical. Validate. Is the data clean? Is it actually correct? You have to be sure. And finally, only when you get the all clear, you resolve the incident and can finally breathe. And this just hammers home the most important point, doesn't it? A runbook that's just collecting dust on a wiki page is completely useless. You don't start looking for the fire escape when the building's already on fire, right? You practice, you rehearse these scenarios so that when the pressure is on, you're not panicking. You're just operating on muscle memory. Okay, so let's wrap this up by shifting from being reactive to being proactive. Because, recovering from a disaster is good, but building a system that's truly resilient is way, way better. So here's a simple checklist that I think every single GCP architect should have pinned to their wall. Okay, this is what you need to take away. Number 1, turn on automated backups for all your critical databases. Just do it. It's totally non-negotiable. 2, go have that chat with the business side. Get clear RPO and RTO targets defined for each service. 3, use cloud storage. Get copies of your backups into a different region. That's how you do real disaster recovery. 4, write it down. Create super detailed step-by-step runbooks. And finally, number 5, and this is the one everybody skips, you have to schedule regular rehearsals. You have to actually practice your recovery drills. Because at the end of the day, resilience isn't just a feature you enable in the GCP console. It's not a checkbox. The tools are fantastic. They're essential. But they're just part of the puzzle. Real resilience, that's a practice you cultivate. It's a culture of planning, documenting, and most importantly, rehearsing for the day that things inevitably go wrong. So I'm going to leave you with this one last question. I'm willing to bet you've got a document somewhere called disaster_recovery plan.pdf. We all do. But have you ever actually rehearsed it? I mean, for real, have you gotten your team together on a quiet afternoon when the stakes are 0 and run the whole drill from start to finish? Because a plan you haven't tested, well, that's not really a plan, is it? It's just a wish. And as we all know, in our world, wishing is not a strategy.